saying that the price of components is coming down, which makes a lot of the kind of work that people can do in this area much easier.
Yes, there have been a number of developments, particularly in the open source hardware arena, that have encouraged this confluence of events. The adoption of microcontrollers like Arduino, the advent of computers, mini computers like Raspberry Pi, the emergence of what some could call desktop prototyping tools, be them desktop CNC machines,
or 3D
printers, or laser cutters, and one other element, the appearance of crowdfunding systems that allow people to fund or sort of sense what the market might be looking for. In concert, all of these things, we believe, and have led to this greater interest in the types of prototypes that typically in the past would involve so much more from a resource standpoint.
Was anybody using 3D printing in the Maker Fairs that you were talking about?
Well, we've had two Maker Fairs where 3D printing was a component. Cairo in 2011 and Lagos, Nigeria in 2012. We had 3D printers at workshops, and we had them at workshops in Lagos, but we had them at the actual fair in Cairo. These were printers that we brought in. For us, the 3D printers we felt were what some have called a good gateway drug for attracting people to the idea of hardware prototyping. By no means do we expect them to be easily accessible for a while, but in many ways they elicit interest in the ideas around the ideas of design and product prototyping that you wouldn't typically have if you follow things in the traditional manner. But beyond the 3D printers, we also feel that these other tools, such as the laser cutters, CNC machines, could allow people who have an interest in these areas to sort of have it reawakened, so to speak.
To have the tools to be able to do it.
Yes.
You live here in New York, you work in Africa. How do you put all that together?
Well, maybe I may physically live in New York, but in many ways I am constantly engaged with what is happening across the continent and within those who share that interest of building and nurturing and fostering enterprise and entrepreneurship and innovation. Fortunately, we live in a time where we have access to tools that almost make your physical location less important to some degree. That being said, one of the reasons we did find Maker Faire is that we felt you could discuss these things as much as you liked outside the continent, but you needed to engage with that young man or young woman on the ground in situ in these various cities to actually encourage the kind of change that we would like to foster. So yes, I may live here, but I do understand that for us to be party to this overall movement around fostering truly sustainable innovation and creativity, you need to be on the ground. You need to have these spaces, these creative spaces that allow people to celebrate, create, build, and foster what they're doing. Somewhat along the lines of the hubs that have become more successful, but also building on that. So the physical presence on the ground should not be underestimated.